Well, hello there, my notary besties. Welcome to part 3 of our General Notary Work series where I help you to become a better notary. So today we're actually going to go over the closing disclosure, and this is part 3 of this series. So when I say part 3, it is page 3. First thing we're going to go over is making sure that the borrower checks the seller credits reflect what they agreed upon with the seller. And this is the seller's credits that I'm referring to right here. So this amount is the amount that the seller has agreed to contribute to the buyer's closing costs. And if the seller has agreed to pay for specific costs rather than contribute to a general amount, those amounts will be listed right here, okay? Right there. We're going to go over is due from borrower at closing. These items right here. So this is the total amount charged at closing. So it includes the borrower's house price and closing costs, but it does not include any credits or rebates that lower their closing costs. Now those are in section L, which this is section L right there, and we'll go over momentarily. What we're going to go over is adjustments for items paid by seller in advance. Those charges right there. All this is, these are costs that have been prepaid by the seller that the buyer is now reimbursing the seller for. The next thing we're going to go over is this section right here, paid already by or on behalf of borrower at closing. So what those charges are, this section, it just details how the borrower will pay the items in section K. This is section K right here, up here. Okay. It includes the amount that they're borrowing, the amount of their deposit, any rebates or credits paid by the seller or any third party service providers. But you have to keep in mind, this does not include the amount that the borrower will have to bring to closing. That's below down here, and we'll go over it at the cash to close. Okay, right here. Next thing we're going to go over is these charges right here. Adjustments for items unpaid by seller. So prior taxes and other fees owed by the seller that the buyer will pay in the future. So the seller is just reimbursing the borrower, okay, or the buyer now to cover those expenses because they know that they're going to have to pay them due to them purchasing the home. And last but not least, we're going to go over cash to close, this item right here. So this is the actual amount that the borrower would have to pay at closing. So they would typically need a cashier's check or a wire transfer for this amount. So, and they would ask their closing agent about how to make this payment. So the closing agent will let them know if, depending on how much the amount is, if they can do a cashier's check, a personal check, or if it has to be a wire. So just depending on the borrower's location, this person also may be known as a settlement agent, an escrow agent, or a closing attorney. Okay. Hopefully this helps. Thank you for watching my Notary Besties, and I'll see you next week. Bye.